Hello, my name is Robert. I'm one of the technical trainers with Decisions, and today we're going to be talking about a high-level overview of the repository and the life cycle of a deployment. The repository is going to be a central location for you to push and pull various iterations of projects and elements to various users in Decisions so that they can work on them simultaneously. Our repository is made up of two main elements. Trunk is going to be the heart of the repository. This is going to work a little different than traditional software development, where you would push to a branch and then push to a trunk. In Decisions, we start by pushing projects to the trunk, and then when we are ready to go through and pull them, we push them to branches. So branches allow users to work on different versions of projects simultaneously. It allows for collaborative work and to store revisions. You can have multiple branches for a singular project or singular elements, depending on how you want to organize your workflow. You can check in and check out from both repo branches and repo trunk. So let's talk a little bit more about checking in and checking out. So to check into trunk, you'll have to first be connected to the repository, but you can do it by clicking and going to the Designer Repository options and going to check in. It will then give you the option to select which branch you want to check into. Once you are in the repository and the project is in the trunk, you can actually create more branches, and that option is a user action. Once those projects and elements get pushed to the trunk and pushed to different branches, they can be pulled by various users. So let's talk about what that looks like in totality. So for this subsection, we're going to be talking about the life cycle of a deployment and hopefully illustrating how the process works for you and your organization in an ideal environment. So the first thing you need to do is connect to the repository. You've been working in development, you have something built that you're happy with, and you're going to start by connecting to the repository. Now, there are great articles on documentation.decisions.com on how to set this up for yourself. Once you've connected to the repository, the first process is to move your project or elements to the trunk. So you can do that by checking it in to the trunk. Once your project is checked in, and again, that is a Designer Repository action, you might want quality assurance to take a look at that project, and you can add it to a branch to keep your revisions organized. So by moving that project to a branch, we now have a revision and an iteration that can be pulled by quality assurance. Quality assurance takes a look at the project and finds some unexpected behavior or bugs. So they will communicate that to development outside of Decisions with the fixes that need to be made. In the meantime, development has still been working on projects and working with trunk. So development has made those changes and is ready to check in the new changes to the branch. They will then check in those changes to the branch so the QA can take another look at that project. If quality assurance thinks everything is good, we are ready to move our project to production. We can cut a new branch for just production to keep things isolated and to keep ourselves organized. Once that working file is on production, it can then be checked out by your production server. So that was a relatively simple approach to the life cycle of a product, but what if changes need to be made? So let's take a look at that process. So an issue has been found with the production version. Development is going to check out that iteration from the production branch. They check out that project and make the changes. When they think that they have the issues resolved, they can then check in that project to the QA branch to have another set of eyes look at it to make sure that all of the issues have been resolved. If QA approves of those changes, they can then push those changes to the production branch. Now that we have a working good version on the production branch, that version can then be checked out by production. So let's take a quick moment to review some of this stuff. Generally speaking, development is going to be able to push and pull from the repository. QA, ideally, should just be pulling. They pull that project, they check to see if it's working in full functionality, and they report back to development. Once that project gets approved, it can then be pushed to a new branch on the repository and pulled by production. So hopefully that brings some clarity to the life cycle of a product, branches, trunks, and the repository and decisions. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to training@decisions.com or support@decisions.com. Thank you.